All right, timing the bear market using the FAANG stocks, which are telling a dismal story. Of course, these FAANG stocks have been under a lot of pressure, and Apple was kind of the last holdout, and then in the last week really came apart, and that was based on news that came out from Foxconn, their supplier, that there were both supply and demand issues that they were seeing. So Apple got really hit on that, and I'm going to show you why I don't think it's all over on the downside in Apple. What we really want to do is we want to look at these 7 stocks that we're going to look at, the FAANG Plus, and then use the projections in there to give us some sense around how long will this bear market last. Of course, in bear markets, you get very big spikes to the upside, and then they resolve again to the downside. We expect that to be happening, and certainly with the big declines, there's room for rebounds. But overall, this is going to show you trends that are strong to the downside. Let's look now as we look at the weekly chart on Apple. For those of you that are brand new, this busy chart has a ton of great information on it. And our work, cycle analysis, really looks at 3 different major components, where we look at the actual rhythms in the market, and that is depicted by these drawing tools on the bottom called a cycle bracket. And we look for the rhythms in the market, which are measured from low to low, as you can see in here. And you can see how these lows line up right here and there and here and then here. And then, something's going on here. So what happens and how head and shoulders tops are formed are you get a cycle that, leaves the left shoulder, you get another cycle that makes the head, and then you get the next cycle, which rallies, doesn't get up to the high, and then fails below the neckline, and that completes the head and shoulders, as you see right in here. And then the distance from the head to the neckline is measured from the breakdown to the next level over here, and that gives you your projection. So our cycle analysis here in Apple suggests, as you can see, these beautiful rhythms in here, that this was a positive cycle because it's a higher bottom and a higher peak. This one also, and this is now a negative cycle. Each of these, of course, you can see projects out to the declining phases coming towards the end of the cycle, and that's way out over here. These lows projected timed to September, October. And the price projection in here is down to about 130. You can see in here our September, October target, 130 to 138, so that's the 27% and the major 78.6% fib. That's where those supports are. And look at this neckline measurement coming up here to about 130. 130 is a good target here between September and October. And yeah, there's room in here for rallies and rebounds and all of this space, but it's very likely that those will continue to fail. We're going to target this area right down over here in September, October time frame. And that's important. I want you to remember this formations in here and the likelihood that this cycle here does not bottom until the September, October period, and this declining cycle, which points out this way. Remember all of that, because now we're going to look at 6 other stocks, and I think you're going to see what we're talking about. Facebook, which in the FAANG, Facebook, of course, would come first. Let's just put up this weekly analysis right here. Facebook actually might have put in a little low there, but it is very negative also. And you could see the time frame in here for this cycle right there. You'll see that little ghosted cycle right in there, which bottomed at this point. Either one of these could be the bottom. And if this was the bottom, then this already broke down. And if this is the bottom, then, well, it could get up close to this area here around 240 before it then turned down again. But again, look right over here, September, October. That's the time frame for these next cycles to bottom right in there. And with this momentum, and I didn't mention momentum in Apple, but this is our reversal scout right in here, and you could see that when it turns down, that sets up the declines in these cycle phasing right in here, as you can see right in here and here and right in here. Here it tried to rally, and already the momentum is turning down. This is not in good shape at all, and we're going to target Facebook to get down over here 150 to 133 sometime in September or October. So there's that September-October time frame. Once again, let's get back to the A stocks, Amazon, AMZN, and here is your Amazon right there. We'll put up that. This is the way the chart looks without analysis on it, and this is the way it looks with our analysis on it. This is a horrible chart. Again, you can see in here these cycles right here, and where these stars are is where the bottom of the cycle is. This bottom then rallied, hit resistance and failed, and then got under this low, which is a big bad breakdown, comes down and nails this fib extension, as you can see right there this week. And that extension level is the 127. You can see that right there. And then lots of room to bounce in here. And then again, coming down. The best price we could see it is around this 2030 area. But if we put the next extensions in here, that would be even lower. Again, the level, the time frame in here is a little different. So this is August to September. So that makes a little bit shorter time frame in here and may bottom sooner than some of the others. But you can see in here, Amazon, a very ugly pattern. Note the cycle rhythms in here and how beautiful they are and how these bottoms line up so perfectly on those cycles. If you don't understand cycle analysis at all, well, you can get some idea of it by going to askSlim.com and go to the workshop tab, and there's a video in there that really helps you for free to get some sense around what cycle analysis is, and it shows you what all the modules are in our cycle analysis workshop. It's unbelievable. We've had many hundreds of people take that workshop, and it's just a fantastic workshop. So take a look over there. Amazon projected not to make its low until August, September, and some rebound in here potential, but not likely to be very significant. So that's the third stock. Let's look at Netflix, NFLX. It has gotten decimated. Again, here's your Netflix pattern right there. And if you add in the cycle analysis, well, that's what it looks like. So this, the cycles that you can see in here, they're a little bit longer than some of the other ones, but look at the low here and here and here, and this horrible, we call this a left-hand translation, where it only rallies for a brief period of time, peaks on the left side of the cycle, and then comes down and breaks that support level where that low was. Momentum in here turns negative. There's some support here at the bottom of this fib extension zone around 126. Well, let's just call that a target. And again, this is a little bit different timing also. This is somewhere August, September is where that low likely is, also a little bit like Amazon. So, but again, you get the sense that this is nowhere near where the bottom is going to be. There is just a lot of time and a lot of price to give up before this is over with in Netflix. NVIDIA, of course, one of the darlings of the semiconductor category, that's a NVDA, also has been a great stock. Let's put the weekly analysis on there. I mean, this stock comes from basically nowhere to 346 and now comes all the way down here to about 155. See, it gets into that fib target zone, but this is so ugly when you look at this. Now, let's examine these cycle patterns a little more closely in here. Again, it's the rhythm of the market, the heartbeat of the market, as you can see in here, and it is so clear. And what is so clear is that when this rally comes and gives up more than 78.6%, the odds are that it will fail in the resistance zone and come back down. That was so perfect. Well, the cycle low support is right here, and when it breaks down, it's negative. This is August to September over here also. So you can see August to September, or some of them to October, is where that low is likely to be. This target right over here is about 150. It could be worse than that. This major support over here is 116. So 150 down to 116 sometime August, September is the target in here. And if it were to be able to rally into this area, it would be a sale because it is just so risky. This is a very negative pattern looking at that. Two more to go in this FAANG Plus category. Google, G-O-O-G-L, is the one we're going to look at here. And again, without our analysis and with our analysis, and another one that has broken down. You can see these arrows right in here, which show you the configuration: bullish cycle, bullish cycle, bullish cycle, bearish cycle. You can see it's lower, it ended lower than it began, and then this cycle fails here in resistance, comes down and breaks the support, and now points out over here. This is July, August for that low, so even a little bit sooner than that. And the downside target in here is around 2,000 in Google. So that's the intermediate 1.618 fib extension. It gets some support here at the 127. Again, it could rally out over here a little bit and get higher, maybe even 2,400, maybe even 2,500. That wouldn't matter. This is where a big risk is going to come over here, and likely to see a decline into this late summer to early fall, just as we see in the rest of this group. And the last one is Tesla. Tesla was a real holdout. I mean, it was really strong and doing really well. And again, let's look at what it looks like with cycle analysis. And there you could see the rhythms in the Tesla market. Again, we look at three components of our analysis: cycle analysis, the momentum conditions, and the swing high, swing low analysis, where we identify support, resistance, and targeting zones. And you can see this is so key. Comes down, breaks below the 78.6 here by a lot, almost gives up the whole 100%. Comes up here, hits the 78.6 and fails and engulfs right in here, and then breaks down and gets below the cycle low support here. What does that point to? July, maybe even August on the downside, and we'll put a target in here of about 465 on the downside. It could get support here at about 608. That is a possibility. So we'll call it 160 points down from where it is now as a best case, with a potential for 300 points on the downside in here. This points again to late summer, potentially early fall if it extends out, and many bear markets extend and get a little bit longer. So this is a really ugly pattern again, and again, it really needs to be sold. All of our analysis on these are available for our members, and the daily analysis will have those resistances in there and sell zones for the rallies, which our members do get to see. That is a look at timing the bear market by looking at the FAANG stocks, which really are telling a dismal story. Much lower prices for a much longer period of time. And if you heard my comment at the beginning of the Market Week show, I really said that, well, the good news is that the bear market's half over. Well, the bad news is the bear market's half over. And we could see the NASDAQ, which of course led by this group of stocks, be 50 to 60% down ultimately from its all-time high. So that's a look, and I think a very important look, at these very important stocks.